Are you going to do?
Also separated.
Yes.
Because if you go to the teacher, maybe it can be too late, or maybe somebody will be hurt. If you see them fighting, you just go separate. Try to separate. If you cannot do that, you go to a teacher. But first, the first thing is to be there and separate them, to calm down.
Yes. If you, but perhaps if you have 13 years old.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe it depends of. If the people that are fighting are older than you, yeah, maybe you cannot do nothing. You run with the teacher or something to have to do something. But if it's your colleague, I think that you can manage to separate them just a little bit. It happened to me.
But you need to care that you will not hurt. If I want to separate two males,
you can get beaten by them.
Yes, and it's better for me if I go to the teacher or one male and...
This depends also if they are your colleagues. I don't think that you can be hurt. Maybe depends on the situation.
What are we going to do today? You saw already in the reception that there was a presentation. You had the chance to step into peer-to-peer, to experience yourself what it means. Peter de Costa will later on explain more about why Inhetto is doing this seminar, why it is important. Johan Bertels will explain you more about the content. And then later on we have a slight change in the program. Jo van Hecke will give a presentation, and later on Emma Rubeck. And at the end we have a panel discussion where we again summarize and tackle very important questions concerning online peer-to-peer projects.
I had the impression that a seminar about peer-to-peer support would already have a broad scale of topics to discuss. So why bringing this other angle, I wondered. But when I thought about it, I realized that Johan was right. The online world, the net, digital and social media are the means by which young people communicate today. And the influence of this way of communication will only grow in the following years. We cannot be blind for these means of communication. We have to explore its opportunities, which, by the way, are plenty.
The idea at that moment was that we were looking for young ambassadors young people who could advertise, promote the center, and made it easier for their peers to come to us, because we thought as professionals that young people with questions should address to us. But then soon we discovered that those young ambassadors were doing quite a lot in their own environment, with their peers, at the school, in the leisure time, a lot of interesting things themselves. Actually, they didn't need us all the time, because they could inform their peers, as they were well connected with the Youth Information and Counseling Center. But sometimes things were too heavy, and then they could refer to the Youth Information and Counseling Center. As they were very committed to what they were doing, they even joined those youngsters to bring them actually to the center. So very quick we discovered that we should not just use those young people, we should see them as partners and discuss with them what they need, kind of support to do what they are doing in a better way.
And then some of the issues that I'd like to talk about today alongside the research, these are the things that I've pulled out as some key challenges for us at YouthNet, which I thought you might be interested in. So the idea of merged lives, the way that online and offline is merging, information literacy and cyberchondria, privacy. Sorry.
Can you explain that difficult word?
So cyberchondria, this is actually a word that we recently invented, or somebody invented. We probably shouldn't take ownership of it. The idea of people searching online and looking at other people's symptoms when they're ill, and then suddenly wondering if they have that symptom as well.
We worked together with the Incluso project, the European project for social software for youth at risk, where we investigated for 2 years what social software could do for youth at risk to change a little bit their way of living, because we saw a lot of young people using the social software for gaming and for social participation, but not to look for jobs or to look for a better house.
Okay, I saw that you are using a lot the online environment, so my question would be, how do you ensure that the youngsters don't become dependent on you? Like every time they have a problem, just come to you online and they transfer their lives in the online environment.
It's very easy. Start something, and when colleagues see it works, they want to do it too. So we try to have key people and motivated people with good skills for online working in each organization, and from there it starts to spread. Not for everybody. It's impossible to train a whole team because we have lots of non-believers too. It is in our sector. We are not in the IT sector, but it's in the social sector. People choose their scholarship to work with people, close people, and ICT is just a thing that they don't like. It's technical, so they have to now, and we work with key people.
Thank you.
In 2005, a group of teenagers debated about safety and created the idea of a website for teenagers where they can talk about their social, emotional problems like depressions, problems with parents, friends, school, etc. with other teenagers in a safe environment. Joanna and Bart, the two on the slide, were at that time 14 and 15 years old and members of that group. They went to the regional government and gave a presentation about their ideas. The government came with financial support with one condition. They had to work together with a professional organization. During a chat service of Share and Trust, there are 2 or 3 peer counselors who are experienced experts. They had also problems in the past, and a professional peer coach is present. The peer counselors answer the chats, and the supervisor guides the volunteers and coaches them as necessary. The peers also answer questions of teenagers.
They just come together and to try to work together to get the government know and the ministry know this is what we need, this is the money we need, because it's all about the money. And
they have to cut on the money with our government at this moment. So, so that's a problem. And sometimes I have the idea in Utrecht, they say, they like our project. They say, oh, we have this, but the money doesn't come with that. Two youngsters, Bart and Joella, and it was a really big problem because the government said, shit, we cannot come with that name, but we said, yeah, share in trust, and then we made it like shit, with all this form, shit with your parents, shit with everything, but for the government we say share in trust all the time, because when I come to the province and I say, yeah, I'm from shit.nl, they look, whoa, what's that? But because it's a peer project, we thought, why do not interfere with the name, because they just came up with it.
It presents an increasing number of opportunities, and with opportunities come problems. Most of them are social problems, where people, well, encounter all kinds of problems. The online environment is an environment where people spend increasing amounts of time. As the British, as they showed us in their presentation, the British and the Finnish spend quite a lot of time online. So I think that, yes, problems need to be solved, and that is why certain people feel, if I can be so bold, a duty to help their own friends, their peers.
I also agree that why we use internet, it's because actually young people are online, and that's why we want to reach them, to help them, and this is just a way how to reach them. That's why we use this method. But of course, I think it's important not only use internet, but also use face-to-face method.
As we talked yesterday, I think the first reason for which we should use online methods is because people can be anonymous. When you see face-to-face a person, you can see who that person is. So maybe many persons have, I don't know, tell their problems, like more persons tell their problems to people online because they don't have to show their identity and tell many stuff about it.
Where you can go to talk with volunteers, and there's normally a topic. It can be relationships or just like autumn, hobbies, something like that, and the users can suggest the topic. It's just a big topic, but we can also talk about anything, and they have the chance to have a private discussion with the volunteers as well about any content. And then we have a list of services, helping services, like links that we can suggest to a person if there's a problem or something that he or she wants more information. Then I can just copy a link and give the person.
While you're having a conversation, not only are you talking to maybe one or two people, but they're also supporting each other and suggesting things.
Yes, I think that happens here.
Yeah.
It happens that they support each other, and so they come there to talk with each other, and maybe, I don't know, it's one reason as well that it's controlled room, but we make sure that people can talk about anything. It doesn't have to be about the topic, but that it's like that they are behaving. That I think some people come there just to be able to, like a virtual youth house.
Problems. Everybody has their own approach, everybody has their own background, and because you work in pairs in a chat, you can ask for their experience. It's you don't always have to rely on your own experience because they are there too, and you can ask them. And because it's a chat, they won't notice that you are asking them for other people for advice. And that's very helpful, because sometimes you just don't know how to approach some teenagers.
Said is this need to change work culture. And it's an interesting debate for me, and we started the debate with Serpa this morning about the Habbo, you know, it's people's playgrounds. Should we be in people's playgrounds? They go in there for entertainment and fun. They don't want us sort of bothering them or literally grabbing them by the shirt and pulling them across the Habbo floor to ask them a question. But there's also, Serpa said something about organisations being too slow to change, too slow to adapt to what's required. My organisation, we train youth workers for 3 years before they're qualified. We don't have one single module that covers digital youth work skills. And I've suddenly realised, talking with some of you today, that if we're training youth workers and changing work cultures, then maybe we need to start looking at the content of some of our professional training so that workers can actually be familiar with some of the skills they need to work with young people online. Because Joop talked about the resistance amongst his older staff to embrace some of the new technologies. So I think that change of work cultures is part of the problem. But on the other hand, I'm not convinced that we should be moving too fast either.
We know our context. We are youth workers, volunteers, and so on. And we also found out some things about peer-to-peer work, online peer-to-peer work. So I think the best thing for me and for us now is to go home and try to link those two. Because we are talking here about online peer-to-peer work, but we also have to adapt the information to what we have at home and do some research. Thank you for this idea.
My rabbit?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay. All right. So, shall I start?
Yeah.
Right. My name is Matjaž. I'm coming from Slovenia, from the capital, Ljubljana. I work as a youth worker in a youth information center. So my projects are connected and related to work with young people, also parents, on the field of youth information training, and also a bit with peer groups. My organization is called MISSS, so it's Miss. My rabbit. I actually got the confirmation that people in Flanders are really very good in peer-to-peer work and peer support work. I know it that for 11 years. And what I found out that nevertheless that there is an online revolution. Never forget the offline working with young people, making them happy, going around, making the group dynamic, group strength, and I think that we should keep on and carry that spirit.
Now, the role of this agency is to coordinate government policy relating to youth and implement it in the youth sector. As regards peer-to-peer work, the agency coordinates with non-governmental organizations. I was entrusted tasked by the agency with coming to this conference and taking notes, and so we would be able to report back and implement what we learned from here on a national scale in Malta.
And what do you feel with this conference?
This conference was very useful. We got a lot of ideas from the presentations by YouthNet in Britain and the Sharing Trust from the Netherlands and other organizations. They gave us some great ideas. For example, having online fora, especially. We also have a variation of that in Malta, but there is a lot more we could do, a lot we learned, and a lot we can implement back home.
You can also play games with your friends, just to hang around. And we have one big room there, where young people can come and talk with volunteers. And normally there is a topic. It can be like relationships, just summer or vacation. passion, hobbies, and it leads to conversation that they can also talk privately to volunteer and get help or just hang around.
Does the topic changes every time?
Yeah, normally yes, and the young people can also tell what they would like to.
Okay.